because while NWA and Eazy-E and them preceded the Chronic, I think they still got a lot of pushback nationally. Like, that's not really rap. But Nothing But a G Thing, when the Chronic came out, you always hear about how even New York couldn't deny it anymore. Like, West Coast rap had arrived and was accepted. And to me, that just changed it for that entire, it put them relevant on the map.
What up, what up, what up, what up? It's Three Brothers No Sense. I am Tavares Ferguson, a.k.a. Ferg, joined my co-host Razi and Buff. Fellas, tell them what's on your minds.
A lot. A whole lot.
Okay.
Man, so much happened.
Go for it.
So much happened last week, bro. I couldn't even, like, keep up. Like, for instance, y'all know Kamala Harris was, like, our president for, like, 2 hours, right?
Yep. First female.
Yes.
Yep.
First woman to have presidential powers while Uncle Joe was, under getting his colonoscopy. I think I said that wrong, but he's getting his butt checked. But no, it was like good stuff, bad stuff, man. I don't know if you guys saw the Zac Stacy video. There's not much to say about that. That was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
He's been arrested.
Wait, what happened?
It's a former football player. It's a video of him like beating his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. He threw it into the TV.
I saw it. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah. Okay.
I watched part of it. For me, it
wasn't much to say. It's like there's
it's not much.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not even much to see. Like it isn't. Oh, he better act really, really bad, or he just beat her kind of halfway. It is at this point. It's just like, dude, stop.
It was one of the most disgusting things I've seen. Rittenhouse is free. He won.
Got that out the way.
The baby had me all over social media for like the entire day with his debauchery that he had going on. And then my man Young Dolph, man, one of the few young rappers. Well, actually, he wasn't that young. He was 36, so he damn near our age. But one of the new school rappers, I guess you could say, that I actually like. I mean, he wasn't like this top lyricist, but he picked good beats. His flow was simple, but it was, he was one of the guys that I requested on the fishing boat in Miami with Allison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw the post. So it was on Ghetto Boys Reloaded. They were interviewing Freddie Gibbs, and he was just talking about, and this had something to do with Young Dolph, but he was just talking about as a rapper, he knows not to go in certain neighborhoods. He's like, I got to move different. He's like, ain't no white dude ever stuck me up. Like, that's not who's checking for me like that, you know? And we're not talking about the police and all that stuff, but it's just like, and I was having this conversation, and I said that because I had this conversation with Lenny actually earlier that day once we found out about Young Dolph. And I'm like, I wasn't expecting it, but I'm not surprised because I feel like when you move in that lifestyle, move in that circle, even if you're kind of faking it,
I did see that comment. I saw that comment.
There's somebody in real life who's taking what you're saying as real life, and they either got beef with you, they trying to prove something, they want what you got. Like, it's just, I don't. It's almost like when a black person gets shot by a police. We're not thinking like every day something's about to happen, but when it happens, kind of like, I'm not surprised. Yeah. So even with Young Dolph, I'm like, oh, he shot in Memphis? Oh, man, I ain't really surprised. Was I expecting it? Nah. But am I surprised? It's sad that if you move in that circle, but that's just kind of the lifestyle. And his thing, Freddie Gibbs, like, I had to realize that because my goal is really, my duties to my family. I'm just trying to get home to my family every day. So I just realized I can't be in certain environments. I can't be in certain things. Not blaming Young Dolph. This is not a victim blaming segment. It's just like, man, it's just getting to the point where anytime you're in that lifestyle, in that genre of music, whatever the case may be, I'm not surprised when bad things happen because it's other people who can't separate the music from real life. And sometimes it's the entertainers that can't separate the music from real life. But, it's sad to see that young brother go, make some good music. It's never easy to hear another black man dying senselessly. But once again, Not surprised.
And it's not just what you said too, Ferg. A lot of these artists, like a Young Dolph, even going back further than him, 50 Cent, they come from a particular lifestyle and they really lived it. And even when they make it, when you live that type of lifestyle, you have certain beefs.
Yeah, streets don't forget. The streets don't forget because
you never get settled. So just because you make it, those beefs are not forgotten. And you make another good point. But sometimes I guess it's hard for these artists to stay out of those neighborhoods. Like he had just finished giving out turkeys, and he allegedly was at that cookie store for his mom. And I'm assuming his mom still lives in Memphis. So it's like, yeah, you don't. I hear what Freddie Gibbs is saying, but depending on who's still in those same neighborhoods, you got to go see your moms from time to time.
Yeah. I'm not blaming it. What I'm saying is it's just not surprising. Imagine not being able to go back to Mobile for whatever reason.
For sure.
And even like now, like I love my hometown. I know I can't move in the same way I did when I was 18, 19. It's not because I'm better than or I'm scared. It's just the reality of like, man, I just can't afford to be in certain situations, and that sucks. It sucks that you can't go back to your hometown, pick up cookies for your mom, and not get shot to death. Not shot at, shot to death. And so it's just But once again, are any of you guys surprised? Like, are you surprised when you hear about it? Might be you were surprised it was Young Dolph, but are you surprised anytime you hear another rapper get shot and killed?
No, and in our generation, you would think we had moved. Like after Pac and Biggie, the hope was everybody learned from that, and it'll never happen again. And unfortunately, it continues to happen from what was it, Triple X Tentacion to my man out West Coast, Nipsey Hussle. So it's continuing to happen, man. The last thing on my mind, though, actually, I'm throwing it to Razi. And I don't know what you were going to talk about, but I want you to also talk about shopping style because it's coming up. And I feel like we haven't talked about it enough. So just please let the listeners know exactly what's going on, what it's for, and how they can participate.
Oh, definitely, man. So Shopping Style is our first official fundraising effort for the Jenica Kimberly Mancarella Memorial Scholarship at the University of Alabama. So you guys know, thanks to all the listeners, the brothers, SWAT, everybody, we came together, we endowed a scholarship. It goes to a junior and then it rolls over to their senior year in fashion and apparel and textile design. So basically think of Jenica's persona at University of Alabama. So Black, female, needing assistance, that type of thing. Very, very good cause. We endowed it. The scholarship or the endowment is up to about $60,000 right now in the balance. And so we want to just continue to grow that as much as possible because the more money's in the endowment fund, the more money goes in the scholarship every year. So Shopping Style is going to be an event. We're doing a mixer and a virtual silent auction. So if you're in Birmingham area, please go to the Shopping Style. You can go to the Jenica Kimberly website. I know we posted it. You can go to our site. It's an event hosted by us as well as Three Brothers No Sense. You can go to our site, look at our events, so if you're not in Birmingham, cop a virtual ticket. We have entertainment that's going to be happening about 2 hours on December 12th, Sunday afternoon, kickback, watch. DJ Lenny's going to be DJing. We got an awesome host that we're kind of surprising, holding back, but everybody's going to love her or him. I don't want to tip my hand on that, but the host is awesome. I can promise you that. It's going to be a great time. The things that we're auctioning off, we've got handbags, we've got gift cards, we've got trips, we've got all kind of stuff that we're auctioning off. And you can just bid from your phone while you're watching. And if you're in Birmingham area, come out. It's at the Wine Loft. It's going to be a great time, great environment, great ambiance. Just have a good time with us and try to raise some money so we can give out these scholarships. So appreciate that, Buff. Appreciate the plug. But again, go to threebrothersnosense.com, Jenica Kimberly. You can go to our Facebook page as well there. Click on the event. The Eventbrite link's there so that you can buy tickets. And worst case scenario, it has a gifting link that you can give directly to the scholarship if you just don't want to go through the rigmarole of doing the event. So either way is fine with us. What did they say on Coming to America. It said we appreciate the money that jingles, but we want the money that folds. So please give and give graciously.
For the people, because I just don't know if everybody knows how silent auctions work. So let's say I bid on something and I don't get it. And I'm not able to win any bids that weekend. Is there a way still to contribute to the Jenica Kimberly Foundation?
Yeah, so there's a couple different things that you can do. When you go to the site, the silent auction site, there's actually a donate button there, so you can actually just click that and donate if you'd like to. There's also going to be raffles. We've got a couple things that we're raffling with the University of Alabama that's affiliated with them. That's all I'm going to say on that until we officially announce. But it's pretty cool. I think the raffle is going to be a really good thing. So you can buy a raffle ticket as well as bid on the auction items, or you could just donate. So either three works. So just go to the site. You'll get that link once you get your virtual ticket or your in-person ticket.
But the most important thing is to get a virtual ticket, or get a ticket.
Get a ticket.
First.
Yes.
Get a ticket.
First things first, get a ticket.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
All righty. Continue, sir.
All right. So X-Men 97. I don't know if you guys have heard, but I am a huge X-Men animated series fan from back in the 90s.
Have you went back and watched it lately?
A couple years ago I did. It doesn't hold up very well.
Does it?
It is very nostalgic. It's probably the best way to put it. But what they're doing is they're rebooting it, and it's going to be a continuation. So not an actual reboot. It's basically from the last season. They're just going to start a new season, but it's going to be updated animation. Hopefully it'll be a better more relevant quality. But I think it will be. I mean, you got to think Marvel's been doing an awesome job with all of that. They've come a long way. So I'm really excited about that just because the X-Men is starting to kind of become more prominent with the Marvel franchise and everything. So that's going to be awesome. But now that my excitement's gone, I got to mention the movie Passing. I don't know if you guys have seen that on Netflix.
I haven't seen it yet.
It is a movie about passing. If you guys don't know what passing is where you are kind of living a secret life and you're passing for either a race or if you're passing to be straight when you're gay, anything like that. Like in the closet is considered passing if you really kind of think about it. And so it deals with that. I will say this. It is slow, semi-boring, but the directing, the cinematography of it, the artistry of it is awesome. So I feel like it's one of those things that they may win awards. You're going to have people like talking about it in theater classes and at the university level and directing classes and things like that. They'll talk about it, but it is a slog to get through. So just kind of warning you guys to that. That's the best kind of review I could give it. But yeah, it was a hard watch, but you know, it does get the wheels turning and everything, but it is beautifully shot. I can say that part. That's all I got right now, man. I'll save my comments for the questions if we get around to them on some of the stuff that you brought up, Buff.
Okay. A few things. I meant to bring this up on our last show. Man, the Republicans never cease to amaze me. The things they just want to go after. So why Buff Boy Senator Ted Cruz got beef with Big Bird?
Because they put the first Asian American.
No.
Oh, he ain't mad about the Asian American Muppet?
Maybe that too. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
But about 2 weeks ago, there was a episode where Big Bird got vaccinated, and they are pissed because it's a children's show and you're influencing them and telling them they need to get vaccinated and all this stuff, and it's just infringing on their rights. It's just, yeah, the Republicans are pissed, like really pissed to the point they were coming at the Big Bird on Twitter and everything. So
it's so funny to me that all of a sudden now they want to die on the vaccination sword when, like, I don't know, blue cards haven't been a thing in this country since like the 30s. Like we've been requiring vaccinations for our children for the longest, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we shouldn't be vaccinated. So I don't get it. I really don't. And I really think they actually had a vaccination special around the time when we were vaccinating for like smallpox and all kind of other stuff.
Yeah, they've been talking about vaccines for years, even going back to the 70s. So, but Big Bird just made a tweet. I got the COVID-19 vaccine today. My wing is feeling a little sore, but I'll give my body an extra protective boost that keeps me and others healthy. But the Republicans are saying that it's propaganda for 5-year-olds. This what Cruz tweeted.
And Fox News is propaganda for 40-year-olds. So let's...
Speaking of Fox News, brainwashing children who are not at risk from COVID. Twisted. Lisa Booth of Fox News. Robbie Starbuck, a Republican running for Congress in Tennessee, joked about Big Bird dying from the shot. And he said 7 days later, Big Bird blood clot, Bird is served.
They gonna get enough for talking about trying to kill people. Didn't one of the Republican Congress people get censured for that?
Only the 24th time in the history of the U.S. House of Representatives.
Lost all appointments, right? They can't be on any panels or anything like that, or committees.
Well, I think it was 2 votes. They voted to censure him, and then they voted to take him off the committee. So he could have been censured and still been on a committee, but they voted to take that from him.
Take him off committee too?
Yeah.
Good.
Explain that for the people, Buff.
Explain. Censured. To me, it's not even really that big a deal. It
never is, right?
Yeah, it's no real. It's like it should be a big deal, but in today's political climate, it doesn't really mean much. I mean, he still can vote. He still is a representative. I mean, he was popping off about the Rittenhouse verdict, and he just been censured like the day before or a few hours earlier. So it's no big deal. Now taking him off the committees, now that matters.
Mm-hmm. So now, do the Republicans lose that vote in that committee, or can they replace him?
See, that I'm not sure. I don't know if they replace him or if they just lose that vote. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking they lose a vote, and of course they are vowing retaliation if they take the House back. They said it's going to be some Democratic members that are snatched off committees.
Well, in keeping with that theme, I don't want to get into the questions yet, but I kind of wanted to start a little conversation. So speaking of the vaccination, I know Ali and Sophie got vaccinated, about a week ago?
Yep.
And is Jazz vaccinated yet, Buff?
Mm-hmm.
And so Sky's going to get hers tomorrow. So, and Z and I are getting our boosters tomorrow as well. So, was it an easy decision to get the kids vaccinated?
Not for us. It wasn't easy, but ultimately, once our county made the decision that the kids were going to be going in person full time, we wanted her to be protected, and so that's why we went along with it.
Yeah. What about you, Razi?
Yeah, it was pretty easy for me for 2 reasons. One is their pediatrician actually had her children in the trials they had a trial at UAB. So I was able to, one, stay updated on the trial that was happening. Pediatrician was kind of telling me what was going on and everything like that. So talking with her, I had a friend that actually was helping advise the trial. And so again, having inside knowledge on what's going on with the trial and everything like that. It's the vaccine has been approved for over a year now, and they've been doing the research or whatever for the children for that entire time, and then going past that to the year is why they gave the 12-year-olds, and then they went down to, I think it's 3 or 4 years old now or something like that. So it's one of those things that when you look at the science of it all, it's the same vaccine. What they were doing for the trials for the children were really just trying to make sure the dosages were right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to give we're not giving a child an 800 milligram Tylenol, right? We're going to bring that milligram dosage down for the child body size and everything like that. Same reason you do that. So they were trying to get the dosages right. And so that's why 12 and over has a different dose than, 3 to 12-year-olds. Yeah. So once they got the dosages right and they felt like they were comfortable with what that was, that's all I was waiting for it. I mean, I made the decision that the vaccine was good when I did it. And so now once they figured out what the dosage was, it was no problem to give the kids the actual vaccine. So, and I hear there's some misinformation out there about people saying it's a different vaccine or whatever. It's not. So just, dispel that rumor. Really it is. It's just a smaller dosage.
Yeah, I think
which means the kids probably will have to get boosters. Same way they do with a lot of vaccines that they have, before now.
I think for a lot of people who were maybe not as confident as you were, Razi, about the vaccine, I think even myself to a certain extent is when it came to Z and I, we were confident enough for ourselves and also to say, hey, if there's any potential side effects like, sterility or something like that, like we can deal with those things, like it's, we're adults, we've lived a life, but it's just that I think for some people that I've talked to is if there are potential side effects, long-term side effects that we find out later, and the kids have to deal with those things, like, let's go with that. Let's say all of a sudden we find out that the vaccine makes them sterile. Man, I gave my child something that, I saved their lives, potentially saved their lives, but it's something like, man, for me, I can deal with it. For them, it's the after effects that have people scared. So, I mean, I was just saying, not trying to don't go on record saying that the three brothers said that the vaccine is going to make you sterile or whatever the case may be. It was just in some conversations I've had, I've heard people, those are their biggest concerns when it comes to kids, the long-term effect of kids versus the potential effects on them that they are willing to deal with because, they're still young, when you're making decisions and I guess that's part of parenting. Anytime you make a decision for your child, it's what are the potential long-term effects on this? You always hope that you're doing the best thing.
Y'all think about potential long-term effects. Think about potential long-term effects of that McDonald's you let them eat every other day and stuff like that. That's all I'm doing.
The McRib.
That McRib. Yep. I can't get my kids McRibs. That's an adult decision. No, that's
it should be up there with cigarettes and alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
A warning label. All righty. All right. So is Sophie here today?
She is not.
Okay.
Ollie had his birthday party yesterday. Shout out to everybody that showed up for the birthday party. He had an awesome time. Really, really felt special. So I appreciate everybody. The gifts, everybody who sent gifts and the folks that couldn't be there still sent gifts. And so he appreciates all that. Thank everybody for that.
Tell him I want a personal phone call.
I got you. As soon as they get back from wherever they're at, they left with their cousins after the party, and I haven't seen them since. So, and they're out through Thanksgiving, so I have no idea when the next time I'm gonna see them. Actually,
isn't that great?
I know, it's good. I like it. But let's see if I can find me a good joke. I think I know one that I.
Porsche is going to be disappointed.
You say Porsche, or are you pretty sure?
Yeah, Porsche. She's going to be disappointed
that he's giving another joke.
Yes.
Why?
Because she requested that you just stop joking.
Yeah.
But my jokes are good though.
# bring back Sophie.
Yeah, it was a whole movement. I mean, we've had enough disappointment this week. Why not?
Yes, this is true.
Maybe she give you your best Sophie impersonation to give the joke.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
No, I really don't have one. I don't. I'll sneak one in there at some point throughout the thing. I don't have any that just like is ready for like a super setup like this. Okay. So we'll get one in there at some point. We'll just skip the jokes right now. All right. Well, in that case, yeah, I'll jump in first. You guys, Buff, you mentioned the whole Rittenhouse trial and the results there. And I've actually talked to some people that, while not surprised, actually agreed with the findings. And so I did want to kind of talk through the trial, the results.
When you say people...
We'll get to that. So, but yes, I've seen people agree with the results and everything. So I wanted you guys' thoughts on it. Of course we weren't surprised, but just thoughts on the trial, whether it was fair, not, some points that like stuck out to you one way or the other, good or bad, and then your reaction to the results of the trial.
I think we saw things that we're not used to seeing in a court trial, mainly from the behavior of the judge. And then on top of that, just how he was able to, I believe, select his jury by pulling names out of
the tumbler.
Yeah, out of the tumbler. So things like that were kind of odd to witness. It seemed like just everything was against the prosecution from the start, and then I saw a lot of people say, once they dropped once the judge made them drop
the weapon charge.
Yes, that they knew it was over. So, no, I'm not surprised by the verdict. I mean, as Black people in general, we're used to really expecting the worst when it comes to these type of things. So, not surprised, but a little disappointed. I will say this though, because you had a lot of Republican Congress people that were offering Rittenhouse intern jobs at the Capitol. I think Donald Trump Jr., he deleted the post eventually, but he was like, we can send him a free AR-15, things like that. And while you may disagree with the verdict and the lawyer that got him off, I thought it was kind of, I don't know, and maybe I'm just being naive, but I thought it was kind of stand up of the lawyer to reject that. And not only reject it, but like forcefully reject. He pretty much called them clowns. He was like, they're raising money off a tragedy. They're raising money off the fact that he's like, no matter how you look at it, 2 people lost their lives. And while we think, our client deserved to be exonerated, at the end of the day, it's a tragedy. And they're trying to raise money off this kid and this tragedy that he was a part of, and it's sickening. And most people don't like lawyers in the first place. So to hear one kind of like, I don't know, stand for something, that was kind of new to me. But other than that, no surprises. And I mean, we even got one friend that said, hey, them white people problems anyway. So,
So Buff, you said a lot. And I mean, so I'm not going to go back over that. But the most surprising thing to me, and I guess I'll take a different stance, is who the victims were, right? This is not what we're used to. We're not used to this white on white crime.
They need to get a handle on that, Wisconsin. Y'all need to get a handle on your white on white crime.
And the fact that they were so willing to, I think I think this was bigger than we want to give credit to. I think it was protecting or stopping any precedents from being set. So I was talking about precedents. So if it was like a line that's saying like, hey, once you become a nigga lover, you're with them. Because you got to think why they were there. Like, this wasn't like some just random Trump rally. If he would have shot somebody at a Trump rally, this would be a completely different. Proud Boys rally, same thing. Different. I feel like it would have been a different outcome. Because what they were supporting and why they were there, these people became nothing better than niggers. And I think they wanted to make a statement on, we're not standing for that, because nothing about what he did was just, I can't even say right. It was just messed up. He shouldn't even been there. Like, there were so many things that were just wrong with the trial. His tears, his crying was just, that was just, his mom is just, I'm frustrated. Go, Razi. I'm done with this.
I do. Before Razi jump in, I did want to jump in on one thing. You mentioned had he shown up at a Proud Boys rally or something like that. I'll say this. What that verdict seemingly told me, at least, was that if Black people were as passionate about the U.S. Capitol as he was about defending property that wasn't even his in a whole different state, to me, that verdict is telling me that Black people could have showed up with MAC 10s, 9mm, and 12 gauges and started shooting the protesters. Like, that's what that verdict told me. that, if you see something like that going on, you can get an attaboy from the police, walk right past them with the weapon in plain sight. And if someone sees you as a threat and tries to disarm you of that weapon, you can shoot them and say, "Oh, what else? That was self-defense." That's pretty much what that verdict said.
Well, I'm hoping that's not what you got, because that's not going to work. I'm hoping because
that's what the verdict said, right? That was the verdict said.
No, is if you're white.
Oh, that's the part. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You left that out.
Gotcha.
I'll put it in there. Okay. It was just, to me, let's not get it.
But people don't see color. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Razi, go.
Justice is blind, Ferg.
Exactly. If you don't see color, then you can't see my suffering because of it. I'm going to take probably the road less traveled on my response to the decision. I actually think the jury made the right call based on the evidence that was allowed, that was presented, that they could consider. They made the right call.
So they were backed into a corner. It was already set up.
It was. But when you talk about it from a purely legal standpoint, because there was no way for the prosecution to prove provocation, then Kyle can use that self-defense, because what the first guy that he shot, I can't remember his name, Rosenthal or Rosenblum or whatever his name is, came at him. They always start all of the information from him charging Rittenhouse. And so from that standpoint, you don't show provocation. You don't show why he did that. And nobody could prove that. So the prosecution tried very, very hard to say it's, he was pointing the weapon at people or whatever. And that's what caused old buddy to start rushing him to, like Buff say, try to get that weapon or disarm him or whatever. But because that can't be proven, because you don't have video of it, because you don't have eyewitnesses, testifying to that fact, then there's no proof of provocation. Him coming, it was stupid. He shouldn't have done it. If he was black, he would have been shot by the police. If he was black, he would have never got rid of it. The whole social commentary on that, I feel you 100%. But the facts of the case and how the case went, it was the right decision, truthfully, from that. And even the gun charge, everybody's stuck on the gun charge and everything. That loophole was there in Wisconsin law, hands down, based on the length of the barrel. The length of the barrel was too long. It was considered a hunting rifle. And so at that point, he can carry it. So they had to throw out the gun charge based on that. And so, again, it's one of those things that, looking at the law, that's what they had to do. That's why the prosecution didn't object when they said they were going to dismiss it.
So that's what's so messed up about it. So going back to what Byron was saying, let's say somebody studied this case to the T. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to Wisconsin. I'm going to have a barrel I'm going to have an AR with the barrel length X that meets this.
Over 22 inches, I think is what it was. Yeah.
I'm going to do everything he did. I'm going to wave the weapons around. And if anybody comes at me in a threatful, what I perceive to be a threatful manner, I can shoot them. Like, you basically gave, Byron's, I'll take that back, Byron. You just gave, maybe not black people, but you gave anybody a recipe for disaster. This should be on Netflix. This is how to get away with murder.
And that's what makes the verdict so dangerous to me. The dangerous.
I didn't. When you said that, because
but is it much different than the Zimmerman trial? Because Zimmerman used the exact same defense.
Exactly. That's why I think the whole stand your ground law. What I would like to see it interpreted as is that if you are, if you have access to a weapon, you don't have to retreat. You know what I mean? But it needs to be built in that law, if they're going to have that law, that you also can't go and start shit. And then once you get in trouble, use your equalizer. Okay? Because the fact of the matter is, Zimmerman went to Trayvon. You know what I mean? And it was like another case going on at the same time with a black woman. I think she shot her gun in the air, and she did time for it. So it's just a lot of craziness. It seems like the law always finds a way to be at our disadvantage.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. It's how it's set up.
But yeah, you're right, Razi. That the Zimmerman is like parallel to this.
Yeah, and that's so sickening to me and disheartening, is because, again, going back to that, folks don't see color, right? Post-racial society, folks not getting our frustration in all of this is that we know, or even if it's not true, we feel that if it was somebody of color, the trial would have went differently. And the thing about it is,
we don't feel that. We know that.
Right. That's what I was going to say. The you look at cases in the past, we have the statistical data to say that it would have gone differently, and so that's where the frustration comes in. And so our allies out there, just understand that frustration doesn't come from us just wanting this kid to go to jail or whatever. It's the equity of it all is what we want, and so we know that if it had been a black kid on that trial or on that stand, then one, he wouldn't have been treated like a kid from the get-go, especially at 17. There would have been no thought of calling him a kid or whatever. He wouldn't have got that benefit of guilty or innocent until proven guilty. He wouldn't have got bail, more than likely. He would have still been in jail until the trial. So all those little things, it's what frustrates us so badly about it, because it's we knew the outcome when we saw what was happening. We saw who was he associated with, and the event that he had come to supposedly defend from. We knew what was going to happen.
Bro, for 17 days straight, Fox News ran this little video of one Black Panther member at a voting poll in Philadelphia. I guess, I don't know if he was just telling people who they should vote for or whatever. It was one Black Panther member. And they were categorizing that as, being intimidating and all that stuff. And the video literally showed most of the people just walking right by him like, and whatever, I'm going to vote how I want to. That was a bigger threat to them than this dude with an AK-47 or AR-15, whatever he had, in the middle of a riot and protest going on. That is
past curfew. There's so many things wrong. Let's go.
That's remarkable.
But I mean, even to you, because for me, it's never really about the trial. It's everything surrounding it. Like you said, what Baby Trump did. Like what all these other people are there. There's GoFundMe. He's gonna be on Fox News. He's gonna be on some panel. He's gonna get some. Like it's not the trial itself. We expect law and order to law and order. We expect our judicial system to do what it is. Lawyers are going to do what they're supposed to. That's their job, right? It's not senator jobs to offer this guy a internship. Like you could just shut the fuck up and be okay. That's my whole thing. It's like those are the things that bother me about it. It's the in your face. Oh, I'm done. I'm sorry. Continue. It's on you, bro.
No, we can move on, man, because you can see the frustration in everybody's voice, and I just really did. I wanted to get that opinion out because I know I had an unpopular opinion.
I don't even think it's an unpopular opinion. Well, it may be unpopular, but I think what you said is fact, Razi. At the end of the day, it's facts.
But I think that's part of the reason we accept it. Like, it was just not, we got no choice, but we already kind of knew, like, they make it hard to prove anything else.
Right. So I'm glad that you actually mentioned that. I'm going to take a completely different route. Today is Sunday. For the listeners that don't know, we're recording on a Sunday. So I want to go to church for a moment. And
take me to church.
And ask you the best church song, the Silver and Gold, by the way. I want to ask you two brothers, what is your favorite Bible story? And give me an example of that story happening in modern day.
Give me a second to ponder over that one, young sir.
Yeah. Okay, who got trapped in the whale?
Jonah.
Jonah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wanted to say Noah. So,
well, I mean, Noah dealt with water, so you know.
Yeah,
I got you. I
So,
feel you.
but I know Jonah, they rhyme, and so but Noah was jumping out. But no, Jonah and the whale is probably one of my favorite stories.
You didn't even know who it was. How's your favorite Bible study, bro?
He just got the names mixed up.
I know the story, bro. I got the names mixed up.
Yeah.
It's different. But, like, I know the story. But for me, that story really talks to having faith and being able to like continue on with whatever your purpose is, no matter what the adversity is, right? And making sure that you can be patient with God on that. And so with that, it's, you guys know, like, we talk about our deployments and we talk about all of that and the things that were happening and everything like that, and feeling like you're disconnected from the world and trying to deal with your own thing, but at the same time worrying about what's happening in the world, worrying about what's happening, with everybody else, and figuring out if you have a purpose and why are you doing it and everything and why you go through it. And then when you come home, that thought of, was it worth it? Was my sacrifice worth it? Did it make a difference and everything like that? So I think, you'll hear preachers all the time talk about, everybody's got a Jonah story or whatever, or that type of thing. And I think that's where really what it kind of brings to me is like, my deployments really were my kind of whale that brought me away from the world, made me have to rethink, and it also gave me a chance to reflect and give me clarity. So it's weird. I really kind of think through it now. Is I had my separation prior to divorce, but we were separated about to divorce when I went to Afghanistan. And so it was a perfect time to step away from life and society and the world and everything like that. And then I think through my Iraq, I had just broken up with Victoria. So again, it was a great time to step away and like concentrate on myself, get myself together, and come back stronger with a new sense of purpose and a new sense of where I wanted to go in my life. So they happened at the perfect times in my life. And at the same time, they were really big, obstacles and impediments that I needed to get over. So that's kind of my I guess, reference to the story.
Well, it's funny you say that. So I want you to go listen to one of the most recent episodes of the Bruz Bookshelf. Shout out to Lenny. And he actually talked about
great episode, by the way. I like that episode.
Jonah and the Well, and somehow he looped Tupac into it. So he has a different interpretation of that, and I kind of saw where he was going. I'm just going back through all my Bible stories. I'm looking at
Jonathan and David. No.
I thought you were going to go there, sir. Give me a sec, Buff. I'm overthinking it.
All right. Why you think I'll jump in on there? And it actually involves King David and the whole Bathsheba thing.
Yeah.
And you know me.
That was fucked up.
I always look for the funny. So whenever I read that story or the pastor preaches that story, I modernize it. So, David is like more poetic in the Bible when he sees Bathsheba. But in the modern world, I picture him like grabbing this junk like, ooh, who is that? God. And then like his man's like, man, she married though. Say word? Oh, word. I know what I do about that. Hey man, I need you to go to war. Bathsheba, come on over here. I mean, like, he was just so taken by this beautiful woman that he did a very, very despicable thing. And while I love that part of the story, I also love how I believe it's his friend who finally kind of like, tells him about himself at the end. Like, he's giving him like this scenario, and David is like, who did something like that? Point him out, and I have him murked right now. He didn't say that in the Bible. That's in the King James version. And his man was like, I'm talking about you, loser. And it's like David's like, damn, that is right. So that story is great to me. And if you've ever watched any episode nearly of Fatal Attraction on TV One, I always have to say not the movie, but the series that's on TV One, it's full of King David, Bathsheba type stories where, someone gets involved with somebody that's already taken or married, and they usually together plot to kill the husband, or sometimes he just does it on his own or whatever like that. So we have countless stories of that going on. And it's something that will always go on because, when it comes to sex and love, people will make bad decisions and selfish decisions when it comes to that. So it's just a great story to me because it plays out nearly every day. Now, I don't think we haven't had a president, because that's pretty much what would be the equivalent of King David. Are you thinking about JFK, Razi? Why are you laughing?
No, I'm laughing because we might not have had a president that did it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put my hypothetical hat on, but I'm retired, so I can say it. I know commanders.
Uh-oh.
Or have heard stories, I'm going to put it like that,
okay,
of commanders cheating with one of their soldiers or subordinates' wives and putting their soldier on a deployment list. That has happened in the military. And that person goes to war, and then they end up like with that commander or that executive officer or whatever, getting caught cheating with the wife while the person is deployed. So that has happened. So in like current day, that happens all the time. Actually,
we saw a similar story like that on The Sopranos. For you Soprano fans, when Tony sends Christopher Moltisanti to North Carolina to pick up some cigarettes, and him and Chris's fiance wound up being together and kissing, and they were going to have sex, but they wound up getting in a car accident. So Chris doesn't get killed, but that's still like sending him away while you play with his lady. So like even in like modern television, we've seen it kind of play out a little bit.
But it's romanticized because it's the Bible.
I guess I'll go with this one. So Cain and Abel, the first murder in the Bible. Need I say more? It happens all the time. But it's a lot about jealousy and not understanding your blessing. So Cain killed Abel, first murder in the Bible. But I think the bigger story for me is there was one of my favorite books, Ishmael, and how they symbolize Cain and Abel are symbolized as
countries or
it's like the givers and takers.
Mm-hmm.
So Cain was like a herder or whatever the case may be. Abel was a farmer, and how throughout time, as the westward expansion happened, the people who needed more land for their grazing cattle and stuff like that would go kill take
Native
over
Americans, take over the country, the people who lived with the land.
And takers. Yeah. So I don't want to get into it too deep because that's a whole nother conversation. Great book, Ishmael. But Cain and Abel is one of my favorite ones. Cain got jealous because he missed his blessing and all that stuff. So, and then you go into the Cainites, and there's so many spinoffs with that, and why black people are black, and all. It's that story has so many spinoffs and deep discussions that go into it that I've found myself a part of for years. So,
and we need to get a black Israelite on the show.
You get
the Cainites, or what is it? The 3%ers,
5%ers,
5%ers. I'm thinking of 3%, the show on Netflix. The 5%ers.
Yeah, so, what up, God?
Oh, but nah, bro. I ain't playing with them, bro. I ain't playing with them.
Nah, watch your woo, man. Peace, God. Peace, God.
What's today's math?
Yeah, what's the mathematics?
Byron, I wish I would have went before you because you made your stuff so much more. But I think it's in life, just having siblings and stuff. There's always that competition and people not accepting that and understanding that their blessings are their blessings and that they're just different. and sometimes parents have to do for others that they, everybody can't be treated equally. Unfortunately, in a family, you treat them as they need to be, and a lot of times there's spite and jealousy and just inner turmoil within families, and I see it all the time.
And Cain and Abel, that recipe is used for quite a few, I guess you could call hood movies or whatever. Like where like New Jack City, we saw it in The Wire, Scarface, where the two they're either they're blood brothers or like really brothers. And they wind up killing one another.
Yeah. That is a storyline that'll never get old.
Right. Yep.
So
appreciate y'all indulging me.
All right, mine's gonna be a little lighter today. So entertain me for a sec. Let's start off with this. Let's name the regions of hip hop. So we got the Dirty South, we got the West Coast, East Coast.
Yeah.
We got
Midwest. So I mean that's really your big ones. New York may consider themselves their own thing outside of East Coast rap. Because
let's keep it simple.
Your Virginia area, that's generally it.
We got Dirty South, but then you have would you consider Miami the same as Miami type music?
They've always been even though they're down south, they've been different from the rest of Southern music. So
let's call it Miami based music.
Same way I say New York kind of feels like they're different than East Coast rap. It's kind of that same thing. I think Miami feels they're different than Southern rap.
So let me ask my question, and then you can let me know if we're going to separate them. So I was listening to Outkast the other day, and it just made me realize, man, I remember when I was just so stuck on this Dirty South type music and all that stuff. And then I was like, but I remember when I was stuck on the West Coast music, and then East Coast. So nostalgia time. Name the first song that you feel changed the game for each one of those genres or each one of those regions for you personally. It was when you heard this, dude, this is the
West Coast, Nothing But a G Thing. Midwest.
Wow.
Because while NWA and Eazy-E and them preceded the Chronic, I think they still got a lot of pushback nationally. That's not really rap. But Nothing But a G Thing, when the Chronic came out, you always hear about how even New York couldn't deny it anymore. West Coast rap had arrived and was accepted. And to me, that just changed it for that it put them relevant on the map. Even though, like I say, NWA was out before that, I think the Chronic is what made the nation start accepting West Coast rap. Midwest, I could be wrong on this, but I just feel like when Nelly came out, who's from St. Louis, and I'm not even a Nelly fan, but when he came out, it really blew up for the Midwest. And I know Eminem came out a little bit before he did, but Eminem, he wasn't regional to me. He was a worldwide global star. So when you thought Eminem,
you didn't even associate him with Midwest.
Exactly.
Associated, he just was he's rap.
So so to me, he didn't do a lot for the Midwest. You know what I mean? Like Nelly did.
I never thought about Eminem being Midwest until right now.
Exactly.
Right now.
and he says he's from Detroit all the time, but still he's such a global star. Yeah. That's not what you think about. East Coast, man, is it, dare I say, Run DMC? I know they were preceded, but again, when Run DMC came out and then they collaborated with, who was it, Aerosmith?
Aerosmith, yeah.
It's once again, just like with West Coast.
Music, but that changed it for you. That changed it for you personally?
Not for me personally.
And on top of that, not just the group, but name the song. What song?
Me personally. My bad. I messed up the question. I messed up the question. Okay.
So you said, so are we going, we still got.
Are you still with Nothing But a G Thing?
I think Nothing But a G Thing.
Yeah, Nothing But a G Thing. I stick with that. I still remember being at Phillips, the first month of school, and Lorenzo talking about it, and just the video, and man, seeing cars with hydraulics and everything, like everything about Nothing But a G Thing and that entire album. That's the one. That's when you could say my love for hip hop really began. Like I had listened to America's Most Wanted, Ice Cube, and a lot of the rap before that, but The Chronic is when I was like, okay, this is my genre right here. Midwest, I can't really say because like I was on Eminem, but like you say, Ferg, I didn't look at him as Midwest, and I wasn't a Nelly fan, so I don't really have a Midwest connection. Northeast for me,
Do or Die.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a real good one, actually.
Yeah. Diamonds Up Against That Wood, something like that. Oh wait, that's UK.
I was gonna say, whoa, that's UGK.
So real quick. So you're about to go Northeast. Are we? So with the question being what it is, so are we doing East Coast? Or are we doing Northeast? Like, are you gonna
Northeast,
break that up?
East Coast, same. I consider them the same.
Yeah, okay.
Me,
that's why.
Listen, I was anti-East Coast, by the way. I'm going to say it. I was down south to the heart. I was anti-East Coast because I hated all the love they got, and the South was just getting shit on for a time. And I found a lot of their music boring because for me, I couldn't relate to it. Like most of their videos, you look at who was it, Smith and Wesson. A lot of some of the earlier, I know you love Wu-Tang, Razi, but some of the early stuff where they're like in the snow and they all bundled up, wrapping around one of those barrels with fire in it. I'm like, I can't relate to that. It's hot down here.
Right.
I need to see candy painted cars on rims. So I was very anti-East Coast until Jay-Z's verse on Jermaine Dupri's Money Ain't a Thing. And when he said, she said she liked my necklace, so she started relaxing. That's what the call a chain reaction. I was like, yo, that's okay. This mother is dope. Okay. So I like LL Cool J and all them, but that verse by Jay-Z, I like Big, but I was pro pop. So I made sure I didn't like Big too much. You know what I'm saying? I was team pop. So, but Jay-Z is the artist that made me say, yo, I got to the East Coast. I got to in this. It just opened up everything for me. And down south, probably Ghetto Boys. I think I told y'all before, we performed them at a talent show in 5th grade, which is highly inappropriate, by the way.
Mind playing tricks.
Yeah, mind playing tricks. Yeah, that is highly inappropriate to perform. Like picture Sky coming home for when she's in the 5th grade. Like we had a talent show today, and they performed a song about cocaine or whatever that song is about. Your mind playing.
It's like what's that movie where old girl gets on stage and she's like, I don't with you.
Oh yeah. With Ice Cube. Yeah.
So, but yeah, Ghetto Boys opened it up in the South for me. Didn't make me like love hip hop like the Chronic did, but you know, they're definitely like the first down South group I really paid attention to. I think I answered your question correctly, Ferg. Let me know.
Yeah. No Miami-based music did it for you?
Nah. I used to listen to it a lot, but you know, I'm not a dancing guy. I'm not a Teen Jams in the middle of the floor in Umbro shorts, skating rink type routine dancing guy. But you know, I appreciate them.
I'm feeling judged.
No, not at all, brother. You know, but
I never had any Umbro shorts. But the Nike sweats, the swoosh swoosh Nike sweats.
That came later,
hey,
brother.
But listen, I always appreciated their music bringing the women to the dance floor. So I had appreciation for Miami bass.
So we got your West Coast, we got your Midwest, East Coast, Dirty South, okay, and Miami based. Did we miss anything, Razi?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
So mine's is difficult, especially for the East Coast, because like you end up falling back in love with those regions, right? So I definitely agree. Ain't Nothing But a G Thing, hands down, brought me back to the West, or brought me to the West. It was never there until then.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely Ain't Nothing But a G Thing took it West. But then Snoop like really cemented it with What's My Name, right? Like, you know, that was like, oh, all right, I'm all on it.
Doggy Style.
So I'll give both of them kind of equal. Like Doggy Style, you know, hands down, that's my favorite album.
I get it. Like there was a time when the Westerners was winning, but it was like, what was like their knockout song is like, bitch, we're here, we arrived. You're like, damn, So to me, it's
Ain't Nothing But a G thing. What it did is it introduced me, and then I went back and listened to NWA after. Like I didn't really know NWA before then, so it was like, okay, that's where Dre came from.
Yeah.
So I would have never thought about that before then. Down south for me, I want to say maybe. See, I always thought I was hood, so like that Atlanta sound even before Outkast, I liked a lot of their songs. So I don't know how the hell I was listening to them at 8 years old, 9 years old, but that I had older cousins, I guess, so I was really kind of feeling them. So like White Horse and all of that. Like I liked it. It was what it was. So I really got into like rap then, but that was really early. And then East Coast came back, and I'd say East Coast wise, I do think Run DMC really kind of made it hit home with that Aerosmith song. So Walk This Way, man, you were like, this is cool as hell. Mm-hmm. And then you started listening to some of the other stuff, and you're like, all right, yeah, I like rap. And so it introduced me to the rest of like rap in general. And from there you got into Virginia and stuff like that, like Rex and Effects, like what is it, Rump Shaker? Mm-hmm. Like that, I was like, oh, okay, this is it right here. And so I'll put that in there. And then bringing it back down south, I know Outkast came out, but I think Ice Cream Man came out before Outkast came out. And so kind of...
Outkast, Outkast, we were in middle school. Because I remember Southern, not Southern.
Ice Cream Man came out while we were in middle school.
No, high school. Outkast came out, they were running neck and neck with the song Regulate. Their first single was running neck and neck with Regulate.
And that's what, 8th grade?
Master P came out like 9th grade. I think Ice Cream Man the summer before 10th grade.
ATLiens came out in 96.
That's not their first album. Southern Player Listic.
Yeah, it's not their first album. Southern Player Listic.
You're right. Yeah, Southern Player Listic. So yeah.
Well, when did... No, I'm going to see what's the...
They fact checking me.
We are.
Because because the thing about it is I'm with Razi, so I was really doing it was... Southern Player Listic came out in 94. You're right.
So when did Ice Cream Man drop, though? That's the
96.
Question.
Yeah. Because Body came out 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, though. For me, Ice Cream Man brought me back down south. Because I liked Players Ball, but that wasn't like we're taking over to me with Players Ball. Ice Cream Man felt like the South's taking back over to me. And then ATLiens dropped, and I was like, oh, Outkast is dope as I don't know what. And then I went back and listened to Southern Player Listic. Like, I don't think I started at Southern Player Listic with Outkast. So I think for me, Ice Cream Man hit harder and brought me to where the South was taking over. And then ATLiens brought me to Atlanta with the South.
So when Dre said the South got something to say, you ain't believe him at the time, huh?
I was too young to even know. I wasn't watching the Source Awards. I didn't even know he said that. Like,
what you say makes sense, though. Undeniably, Outkast is a better rap group than anybody out of No Limit. But I personally have never seen an artist and record label take over a region like No Limit did. As great as Outkast is, I don't think they've ever, like, people would get, I don't know too many people that have Outkast tattoos. There were people getting TRU tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
In high school with us.
Yes, exactly.
Class of 97.
Yeah.
I'm just calling it.
So, just that time frame, Master P owned the South. Even though Outkast was much better, it's kind of like, Outkast is like Tim Duncan. Like, when you talk about, great superstars, sometimes people forget about Tim Duncan. He quietly, averaged double-doubles, won championships, all this great stuff like this. But everybody paid attention to Kobe and some of the other superstars.
Yeah, it's and I think like you talk about Eminem was just looked at rap and not as Midwest. I didn't look at Outkast like that for real. Like they said it, but for real, Outkast was just rap to me. And I didn't even look at them as like a Southern rap thing. And maybe it's because being from the South, like they didn't sound foreign to us, right? So it wasn't like oh my God, I like that accent. It was like they sound like all of us.
By the time they came out with Aquemini, they were bigger than the South. It really AT Aliens, but they named the album AT Aliens to remind you they're from Atlanta. But after AT Aliens and before Aquemini, to me, they were bigger than the South.
So for me, G-Thing, and I'm going to say the reason my answers go this way is because you all made great arguments, but there were certain songs that you heard, like, you know, I was listening to DJ Quick and stuff before all that stuff came out, right? But DJ Quick was just, you know, just because that's what my dad listened to and it was just cool. But G-Thing made me want to be there. It made me want to be in that world. It made me want to be a West Coast rapper, made me want to be in there. Like I wanted to be at that party. I wanted to be at those barbecues. I wanted that life. And that's what changed for me. Like that thing just completely changed it. So I was debating. Okay, let's go East Coast. East Coast, Biggie did it for me. Biggie, I mean, I got to give it to him. You know, and I'm a Jay-Z fan and Nas fan. But Biggie, he just...
Ready to Die was hard. Ready to Die was hard.
Yeah, it just kind of made it this. He was everything that you said the other East Coast rap wasn't. Right? He wasn't this grimy. Right. He wasn't this gritty, grimy, flashy. Yada yada. He kind of had that, damn, this dude kind of smooth, you know. He kind of reminded me of like how Dre and Snoop, like these were just some smooth. These are dudes I wanted to be like. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't wait to have that Snoop party, that Dre party. I couldn't wait to be like, Biggie was cool. Big, you know, big, ugly as ever, but he was cool. West Coast was bone.
You mean Midwest?
Midwest. Excuse me, Midwest. Yeah.
You know what? I'd like to adopt that as my answer for the Midwest.
Yeah, but I just
Fergus Bone. I can see that. Yeah.
I was.
Did I even give a Midwest?
No.
I didn't think I did. So
yeah, Bone, bro. That whole album. I remember having my little Walkman. Me and Melvin had our Walkman. We'll skip church and go listen to
East 1999 Eternal.
Walking to the Candy Lady in Orange Grove.
Yeah, on tape, not even on CD.
Yeah. That was and then for the South, I mean, y'all had some good points. I'm still debating between Outkast and Master P, but I want to go Master P just because Southern Playalistic, all this stuff just seemed like they seemed like the average dude to me, right? They just seemed average as they were rapping about everyday. But Ice Cream Man was just like, man, this dude is cool. Like, I wanted to slang some ice cream, man. He made everything seem cool. Riding with Outkast seemed like it's something that, you know, would have been like riding around Mobile with one of my homeboys, or, you know, riding with Slam or something like that. But Master P made me want to be that. And then when he just kept coming out with more bangers and more hits, and then brought on all of, you know, True, No Limit, like it was, dude.
Yeah, let's be honest. The production made No Limit. It really wasn't the art. But
it changed the game. It was like it made you want to be part of. Like you said, there were dudes going around being, you know, want to be part of TRU. They had the TRU tattoos, you know, tatted across HS. You know, like he made it cool. Outkast were just cool dudes. I feel like Outkast would have been like me riding with Slim and Buff in the stands around Mobile, and niggas just start flowing. That was an Outkast day to me. in the beginning for everything else. But it was just weird because I was listening to Elevators the other day and I'm like, man, this shit. I remember when this hit. Man, this was different.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, is this where I really started really messing with the South? Then I'm like, nah, I started messing with Outkast before that. And then I started like, but nah, P came out. So, but I think Master P, Ice Cream Man is a song that just kind of really got you into, because I started buying, I was buying those CDs.
Mm-hmm.
So they had me hooked.
Yeah, I think, like you said, No Limit was the South at the time, and then it moved to Cash Money. I don't think Atlanta ever really owned the South label.
Yeah, they did.
Nah, they had a whole Atlanta owns the South now.
And that group, okay, all right, I get it. That,
Atlanta owns the South now.
Yeah, they own the South.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that time period. That those 90s when we were first getting into like rap and everything else. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't own it until really late after Outkast got big, when they became like bigger than the South, and they started dropping other people in there. Luda came behind them. You had Bone Crusher and all that group. Then you had in the 2000s you had.
Well, you can't sleep on Dungeon Family.
Dungeon Family, and then you talk about
Tip.
Crunk music.
Don't forget Tip.
And then Tip. So John, okay, all right. I back off of that. In the 2000s, the South, 2000s and now, I guess, the South was owned by Atlanta, but in the 90s it wasn't.
Memphis is coming too, which makes the whole Young Dolph thing even worse. But Yo Gotti, Black Youngster, Young Dolph, like Memphis. Then you already got 3 6 and Ball and G. Memphis is become a hotbed. Man.
So can Atlanta give New York a run for hip hop capital?
Oh, I don't know if this is controversial, but the South won. That's over.
The South won.
Yeah, like we just
the South is the capital.
We
South won.
I think New York is the Mecca.
Yeah, we just enjoy music from different regions, but overall the South won. Yeah,
that might be the title of the show. The South won the war.
Yeah, man, that's a fun question, Ferg. Fun question.
All righty.
Yeah, definitely.
All righty. So let's go ahead and close it on out, fellas.
All right, man. Well, I'll go, and you guys know this is a Thanksgiving episode. I was gonna make this a question, but I think we just deferred to having it in the end of the show. Just kind of really talking about what we're thankful for and everything. And I've been really retrospective on everything. My dad's been really, really sick, in and out of the hospital and everything like that. So I'm really, the biggest thing I'm thankful for is just having that time to be with him and spend time with him, and just having him here with me, being able to, kind of wrap my arms around him. He came to the birthday party or whatever, and all he could do is just sit there and be around. But even with that, man, it was just like, it was good for him to be there. I was excited he was able to come and just give Ollie a big hug for his birthday and stuff. So really thankful for that time that I have with him. And Ferg, I wanted to say thank you, man. I had to say thank you. You introduced me to Jacelyn and everything, and so that's been a big deal. I figured at this point, wasn't no hiding it. We're going down for all class this weekend, so she's riding along with me. So at this point, man, just appreciate it. It's good to have somebody that I can like just talk to, laugh with, and that type of thing. Be excited to be around again, that type of thing. So I appreciate you, bro, for the intro.
No problem, bro. No problem.
Ferg 2 for 2. From what I know about Jacelyn, I really, really like her for you, man. So I'm happy for you guys. The only thing I'll leave with, man, is as Razi said, Thanksgiving is coming up.
Oh, hold on. Were you asking us what we were thankful for too, or?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, family. Seriously, like that's the go-to answer, but they're the reason I get up mornings. I don't feel like getting up to go to work. They're the reason why I try to think. What was the question I asked? What would you do if someone grabs your lady or something like that? They're the reason I try to think before I react to certain situations, because I don't want to put myself in a situation that'll take me away from them. So I'm extremely grateful for them. Like, having someone to come home to every day that loves you. Losing my mom last year and my dad several years before that. It really, really makes you appreciate those that you do still have and just try to enjoy yourselves as much as you possibly can. So I will always be thankful for them. Everything else is secondary because they're the reason why I do most of what I do.
I'm gonna make mine very simple. I used to always hear the old folks say, I'm thankful for my health and strength. That's what I'm thankful for. Being in the world I'm in, seeing the world over the last 2 years, and even with my new job, your health is so important. And I mean, I've come across so many friends and family members and coworkers who were just fine one moment and they get that news that something's going on seriously wrong. Perfect example. I'll keep his name out of it, but one of my coworkers with my new company tested positive for COVID right after we got back from training in, call it September. Couldn't shake it, was down for the longest. And he finally cleared COVID, got a negative test, but still felt down. So they could let him up on antibiotics and stuff, and he just kept going, but he couldn't shake it. So he did some blood work. This is maybe 2 weeks ago. So it'll be, say, the first week in November. Did some blood work. Thursday, he gets that blood work back. He has late stages leukemia, like aggressive, like out the blue. This dude is engaged, has between him and his fiance 5 kids. His world revolves around his kids. And I mean, one moment you're this stud, you're just trying to figure out why you can't get back, and out the blue, he found out Thursday night. Basically, our doctors looked him over as far as his blood work and told him he needed to go to the hospital first thing in the morning. And so when he went to the hospital, they were expecting him to go ambulatory, like, because his numbers were so crazy. The fact that he walked into the hospital, they were shocked. He should have had organ failure. He's going through it now. Like, he got there, he got diagnosed on Thursday, started chemo on Friday. I mean, and when I say it's just, and, we've all been touched, we've seen it. It's just, I mean, cancer is one thing that scares the hell out of me, but I go back to say just my health and the days I have and the opportunity I have to try to make a difference. Like you said, Razi, time. So as long as I have my health, I'm trying to make the most of my time to make a difference. So with that being said, Buff, it's on you.
Thanksgiving, there's a candidate, was a politician that ran for president not long ago, John Edwards. And he came out with the whole 2 Americas thing. And a lot of people said, hey, it's one America, no such thing as 2 Americas. Well, listen, when it comes to Thanksgiving, it's 2 Americas. Because I have spoke to some coworkers. They shall remain nameless. And I will let you guess the race. But, I know a lot of people like zucchini and squash. But that will never be my favorite dish to look forward to for Thanksgiving.
If that's your favorite dish.
Cut up.
What else is that?
My mom's making cut up zucchini and squash, and I can't wait. Ugh. Word? Tomato.
What'd y'all do?
Tomato pie. I never heard of it until a few days ago.
Is that essentially ketchup pie? Like,
no. Sliced tomatoes in pie crust.
Does it melt down to ketchup? I'm just trying to make the best of the situation.
Bro, I will send you the YouTube video on it. I've never heard of it. Miss me with that, okay? And listen, whatever you eat, what you like is what you like. I'm not knocking. I'm just pointing out that there are 2 Americas.
Go back to your country with that.
They have that segment in Colin in Black and White where
the pumpkin pie.
The pumpkin pie. He's like, oh, I love pumpkin pie. They like looked at him all weird, like this is sweet potato pie.
Bless your heart.
Pumpkin pie gets so much slander. It's really not that. I mean, sweet potato is better, But I think most people that slander it have never even had pumpkin pie. It's actually not.
That's true. That's true. It's not bad.
It gets so
it's
much
not
slander,
sweet potato
man.
pie.
But it's not sweet potato pie.
But yeah, man. So enjoy your Thanksgiving, but just realize that there are two Americas. And I think, Chappelle, during the Chappelle show, he did the whole trading spouses segment skit. We need a trading Thanksgiving segment where the white family prepares the meal and then the black family goes to eat and the white family goes to eat the black prepared food, and just let the cameras roll at the comments.
You can still do that with your coworkers. This year, Brian. You do some good.
I don't want to be the test subject. No,
bro. I actually thought you were going to go with the can versus fresh cranberry.
Oh, I made that. No,
sauce.
Can.
Yeah.
What you said? Got the pre-cut lines in it.
Yeah, tell you where to cut and everything.
That's part of those two Americas, bro.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna say. I thought that's the America you were talking about.
You know who likes those?
Really?
The homemade.
I'm good on that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this: Go FAMU. We are 9-2. Our first year in the SWAC, so we had a good first year in the SWAC. They are trying to make it to the FCS playoffs now, but more importantly, and this is the only time I ever mentioned BCC, is we beat BCC. They had a 9-year winning streak against us, which is crazy. And I mean, it was one of those things where we could be winning, kicking their butt, and then somehow we found a way to lose. Every year that happened. So I guess it's true. I put it in my Facebook post. Wildcats only have 9 lives. So great job, FAMU Rattlers. And go check out that video, dude. It's creepy. They did something with Mary McLeod Bethune-Cookman Jr. On there, and it just was crazy, bro. So hopefully you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Razi, you're going to Mobile. Buff, you're staying up there. I'm hosting in Houston. You guys stay safe. Everybody eat your food. Make sure that people are cooking the right stuff, because that was going to be my question earlier, is about like who can cook Thanksgiving dinner. I feel like you have to be pre-qualified, because I've seen this go wrong so many times, but that's a whole nother discussion. So 3 Brothers No Sense. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week. Happy Thanksgiving.